I call this Ode to the Mainstream Lamestream Propaganda Machine. Don't call it a theory when it's backed up with the facts. Keep your opinion to yourself and enough with your attacks. Those who do some research and can connect the dots have had enough abuse from mind-numb brainwashed crackpots. Day after day and night after night, the media lies right to your face. They play on your emotions. It's a pathetic disgrace. They called it mostly peaceful when we could see with our own eyes a wide swath of destruction and the loss of many lives. $1 billion of damage and livelihoods destroyed. Cities left in shambles as looters were deployed. We watched their lame reporters as flames reached to the sky, downplay all the carnage. It was peaceful in disguise. No matter how much evidence contradicted what they said, they forced their feeble narrative in spite of all the dead. Week after week and month after month, they sang the same old song, hoping if they sang it long enough, we all would sing along. So if they'd be so bold in spreading blatant lies, why the hell would you ever listen and give them another try? They told us Trump colluded with Russia, which we found out wasn't true, but we heard Russia, Russia, Russia every evening on the news. They claimed the Hunter's laptop was just Russian disinformation, knowing all the while that they were lying to the nation. They claimed that Biden won by the largest vote in history, but how he pulled it off seems more than just a mystery. He couldn't fill 8 circles on the floors of high school gyms, while Trump had cheering crowds packing football stadiums. A giant spike of votes in the middle of the night all came in for Biden. Now you know that ain't right. Most secure election, my chubby, hairy ass. If that were truly the case, why'd they put cardboard on the glass? Why were watchers sent home early before the counts resumed? Why were boxes of ballots retrieved from under-table tombs? Why the need to employ 2,000 traitorous mules? Why did they subvert established election rules? Why did they extend the count in clear violation of the constitutions of the states and of the nation? Why did tens of thousands of supposed mail-in votes display zero evidence of creases or of folds? Why in many counties were there more votes than voters? Something about all of this gives off repugnant odors. And while they state repeatedly that Dominion systems can't be hacked, they have internet connectivity and are subject to attack. And while we're on the subject of the election most secure, I have another question about something less obscure. Thousands of whistleblowers and witnesses risked felony prosecution by swearing to affidavits of criminal election execution. While the media will tell you there's no evidence of fraud, these very affidavits are evidence of violations of the law. Why would so many people risk serving hard time in prison? They didn't do it on a whim. It just doesn't stand to reason. And let's not forget the FBI colluding with big tech. You know the price of treason is a rope around the neck. Of course, the media told us January 6th was an insurrection, a deadly, seditious riot, as Congress certified the election. But they found no firearms in a crowd 1 million strong, and most of those attending were waving flags and singing songs. A cop killed with a fire extinguisher was spewed out as the narrative, but cutting through that fabrication has become imperative. Patriotically and peacefully were the words that Trump had to say, but the lies about his instigation continue to this day. Many who entered the Capitol were waved in by Capitol cops who helped pull back the barricades as a component of their ops. Someone please enlighten me and tell me how it works that an unarmed group of rioters breached the most secure building on earth. And while we're on the subject of instigators on the Capitol steps, someone please tell me, who the hell is Raymond Epps? Tucker showed the footage of the Capitol from that day, of the horned Q shaman escorted by cops along his way. Tell me it was a murderous mob. I simply will not have it. The only one that died by force that day was a vet named Ashley Babbitt. Now they try to tell us there's no evidence of Biden's corruption. It's hard not to break out in an uncontrolled laughter eruption. Tens of millions in kickbacks from Ukraine, China, and Russia. Proof of his involvement with Hunter and Burisma. His many heinous crimes hidden by the FBI. Always make sure you reserve 10% for the big guy. Withholding $1 billion to get a prosecutor fired. That's why in the Ukraine war we find ourselves now mired. We're called a cult for believing in God and the Constitution. For wanting to put our country first, they'd like to put us in an institution. They spread the propaganda that we're a threat to democracy, but we're a republic, dumbasses. Enough with your hypocrisy. Deceit and manipulation are very powerful tools employed by those with no regard for decency or rules. If you haven't guessed by now that all they spew is lies, it's time to take your blinders off and open up your eyes. You may not like this statement and say it's lacking class, but all of lamestream media can kiss my big old mega ass.